spring.
Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, April 17th, 2025. We're here for a work session. If we will all please rise for the pledge. Joanne, would you mind leading us?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Okay. First up on today's schedule, we have matters surrounding possible Chapter 255 event with Dreamland Amusement. KERN, COYNE.
Oh, where's Ray?
Ray Coyne is en route.
Okay. Okay, come on up. Yeah.
I hope Ray printed these out. Do you have a printout of what you sent, Ray?
Yes.
Oh, good, okay, second one.
I wasn't sure how many.
It's really the layout.
So there's just a little overview of our company, a little bit of a proposal, and then the layout and all that.
So, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, as you know, when we had a partner in Cody's on Main Street, we also became affiliated with JVC Broadcasting. We ran the amphitheater concessions for years. Now somebody else took it over from us. But in the meantime, they called me because DreamWorks, who is a national company, do projects like this all over the country, and they have a contract in Brookhaven Town. They've been doing it for years. So they had called me one day, Jerry, and this is Jacqueline.
Yeah.
She's part of the family. And they were looking for a location out east. And I thought that a perfect location might be in front of the ice rink. It's only a 5-day event. We'd like to run it through the recreation department. If he's here, so he might be able to take over. But that's how they're here today. They were looking for something out east. This would be, she'll explain all the details and stuff, but they run a tight operation. Of course, they're responsible for all the costs, insurance, everything. We'd have to do the 255 application somewhat to give insurance and everything else. So I don't know if you, Bob, if you want Ray to...
You know, Ashley and I met, Jacqueline.
Yes.
Yeah, with Jacqueline. And so we...
Yeah, I spoke to Bob
yes,
about this, and we had a
yeah.
preliminary meeting before we
And
came here
I thought it
a
would be
week ago.
a good idea to speak, see if Recreation wants to do it. Recreation seems amenable to do it. It would be income to Recreation, and,
Well, let's go backwards. We're amenable to having it there.
yeah.
As I told you, not to interfere with the residents, which I don't think it will, with parking and everything. We don't want to host it, though. I don't think that's what.
No, you're not, well,
How does it work? Good.
We would lease property from the town of Riverhead.
for 5 days.
Right.
You tell me we can do the event on the property, issue us the special events permit, give us a potable water source, and we handle everything else. As far as advertising,
You
toilets,
get paid
dumpsters,
for
cleanups.
the use of the property.
Correct.
This is a Chapter 255 application that you're putting in.
Right, on town property. Right. They only called me about 10 days ago, so it's, I know we're a little bit,
How's parking going to be handled?
We have parking staff, and we would use it on the grass lot, and we have light towers to light
On
up
the
the
grass
area.
lot, isn't that where you're set up?
Right.
So where are you going to park?
But outside
Over
of that,
here?
yes.
Is that enough room?
It doesn't look like it would be, because the hockey rink's got to be like right here.
There's about 150, 200 feet in between the parking and the hockey rink, and we can always, that space there, we can always make smaller, however much distance you need in between.
What do you anticipate attendance-wise?
Maximum 1,500 people for a day. You
So
know,
that's all day long, so that's
Correct.
500 cars. Because it's usually 3 to a car is the average.
correct.
They do this at Bald Hill,
Correct.
right, in
Yes.
Brookhaven. I have calls out to Brookhaven just to get some information on it. Do you know who's your contact in Brookhaven? I've been trying to get.
I don't, I can get my, I left my phone.
Well,
with
actually,
the chair.
right now, JVC, this is the ones you want to call, I can give you his phone number.
Okay.
JVC has contracted with the town of Brookhaven to run the amphitheater for the last, I think they have a 20-year contract. So
Okay.
they're the operators now, and they have to comply with all the Brookhaven town insurance, even because it's still town property. Right. And they actually lease it from JVC, but I can give you John's phone number. He's the Cracchiola, you know John Cracchiola, he's the owner of that, so.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing it for years. They do up and down the East Coast. I actually, Supervisor, why we're here today is just to get an indication. You brought up a good thing about the parking. We know that, and we have to work out all the details to the satisfaction of the town staff on any application like this. We just want to know if you're even interested, because if you're not interested, we'll just move on, that's all. And the price has to be right, too, I understand that.
And you have parking attendants, it says, so that would
Yeah,
help.
they provide
Yes.
security, everything,
Yes.
soup and insurance, everything that's required
We're
in the
looking just to
255.
really create a family event for the families to come during their summer. The original Suffolk County Fair started in Riverhead in the 1900s. So doing something just to reimagine that and have a safe, fun place for families to go.
Also,
and-
strict supervision, and anybody under 18 must be
Yeah, I
accompanied.
saw that.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah,
No-
and we have it complete.
No alcohol
Yeah.
is served during this event. They're strictly a family, they're a family reputation. And again, I'll be happy to give Ray John Cracchiola, he can vouch for him because they've been leasing the private. When we did the concessions there, they were there. The week that they were there, I could see how they operated. They're a professional organization.
Yeah, I've been there. It's a great event, it is. I've been to both held, so.
Yeah.
But like it says, silent generators, you have those for noise issues.
Yeah, the only thing they need from the town besides the property is water, which I'm pretty sure, Frank, we can figure out how to get the water there.
Yeah, I spoke to Frank actually after our meeting because I saw him in the hallway.
Yeah.
And those hydrants from the street, we can hook up
Okay.
to them. He has a price per day for the use of each
That's
hydrant.
That's fine.
So I told him that was really all you were looking for and the space. And I guess to put my 2 cents in, when we met with them, I think Jacqueline's family and the company, everything they went over, every time we had a question about something, they had an answer and a solution, and they seem super organized and have it covered. Like, we don't need anything from us. It's similar to like a strawberry festival or something
just
on
gonna ask
Matatuck.
that.
Yeah.
I was
And
just
that
going to ask,
brings,
is
yeah,
the same rides as that?
That's nice.
It's not the same company, but it's
Similar
the
rides?
same concept, yes. And then I put our website down on the bottom of the page, and you can look. We have close to 70 rides now, but they all wouldn't be there, obviously. But we've really grown over the years, and we're a Long Island-based family that
Where are you located out of?
we live in Stony Brook, but our winter quarters, we have one in Delco, North Carolina, and one in Florida.
I did comb through your website. It's very legit, very good.
Thank you.
So, and
Would
I...
this require police involvement?
Well, probably they're going to have to look at this, Timmy, that we might need some police on the main road or something, direct traffic. Of course, we got to pay for that, so I understand that, how that all works. So, but they provide their own security, and I'm pretty sure it's the same security company, JBC. Is it the same guys that they use over there? Or you have your own?
We
yeah.
hire a security company.
Yeah, right. They hire a third company that has, and plus
And we use them at multiple events.
Right, and also, of course, it's 24 hours a day security, because when the fair's not there, they want to protect the equipment and the property and all that, so, yeah, so it's a first-class organization, and the reason I thought of the ice, in front of the ice rink, because I drive by it all the time, is I think it blends in with what we're trying to achieve up there to make that a full-service, full integrated recreation facility that we got from the government, and I thought this would fit in naturally then. It's only 5 days and it wouldn't I don't think it's gonna, it might be a little strain on the hockey rink for the 5 days, but they're only open, you'll see the hours, only on Saturday and Sunday, they open most of the day. The other days, they start at 5 o'clock at night, so.
I think it'll help promote the hockey rink, to be honest.
That's what attracted me to it. is-
My
And
only,
we- and
I
we're
will say-
responsible doing all the promotion, we pay for everything, I mean, we pay for everything, so.
Just so you're aware, the hockey rink has been having meetings, Peconic Hockey has been having meetings to do fundraising efforts. Their biggest thing is they want to get the water supply into the rink, so they've been scheduling different meetings for fundraising events. So just in fairness, I put out there that this is one of their major ideas was to put, or have a carnival up there to raise funding for the
You could do
fire
it
hydrant.
another
to put in
time,
there.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
up to, this is only in, what's the date is in June?
I just want to put out there that
It's
they've had
we would
discussions.
arrive on the property June 22nd, which is a Sunday, and that's kind of like our dead loads is what we call them, to start putting them in from our other event, because at our previous event, we would close June 22nd. Then, starting the 23rd, we would really be moving in, setting up, staging, all of that. The actual event would be held the 25th to the 29th, and then everything would be off property and final cleanup on June 30th. And we have a cleaning crew that we hire that comes in to do daily cleanups and also a final cleanup after all the trailers leave, because sometimes garbage and whatnot gets underneath the rides that can't be taken care of and dealt with until the ride moves, obviously.
just
or
a
the
quick
trailers move.
question on my end. You have parking attendants, correct? 'Cause there's only
Yes.
one entrance into this parking lot.
Correct.
So, and it has to go
We have
through
its
on
own
the main
parking
parking
staff,
lot.
yeah.
Okay, as long as they can lead the people, I mean, I can develop a path where they can go, so they don't interfere with the
Right.
hockey or the other people using the
And
park.
this outline is obviously not set in stone. We can manipulate this however we see fit for the event. This is just a rough idea.
Now, I spoke to Jerry too, as the other ownership here, and when they go to a new location all over the country, they do like a shorter period of time to try it out. Now, in Brookhaven, I believe it's what, a week or 10 days in Brookhaven? So it's a week, isn't it a week you do in Brookhaven? Something, but they would be, if it pans out, they would be willing to sign a contract, come back a few years in a row,
Our
five-year
idea
contract.
is, right now, we're testing it out, seeing how the community likes it, what's the
Right.
response. And then we really would like this to be a
An
10-day
annual
event, an annual event, and something we can sign a long-term contract.
And then the town
but
could,
that's all
then we
obviously
do a lease
contingent.
that you get paid, and then you can count that as your income for the budget. I know we're not talking $1 trillion here, but it's, every little bit helps. Plus, it helps to promote the park too, the facility. So,
Well, Vic, you'll remember back in the day, the Rotary held
I-
their summer barbecue up
I
there.
said it, and I said it at the meeting, I said it was one of our.
All of Riverhead was
And,
at that
and all of
barbecue.
Riverhead used to go there, and of
Yeah.
course, we parked the cars in the
Yeah.
lot next door, and it was one of the best things we ever did
I
as a
agree.
community.
It was a lot of fun.
And it was a lot of fun, and of course, Grumman donated property, but we had the train ride and the merry-go-round, which is.
We
I knew there was
also-
something on that property back
Oh,
then. When I was
yeah.
younger, I went
Oh,
there.
it was-
Yeah.
We
had
also,
stuff
if
like
we
that.
have a surplus, we have also stopped entry and stopped sales just to manage the crowd and everything like that. So we do, and that is, I can't tell you now, okay, Saturday at 7 o'clock we're stopping, but we do, everybody, all of our management has radios, our ticket booth has radios, so everyone is fully uniformed in radios where we are not relying on a cell phone to try and get in touch with everybody. So if we do have a surplus and if things are getting backed up and we are like, okay, this is too much, we have to pause, we do stop cars from entering so that it just doesn't get out of control.
Are you willing to offset the cost of our police department that has to come in for traffic mitigation?
Yeah, we've paid for police as well.
Right,
That's
they
not
do
a
in,
problem.
Bullhead
And I
and
know
Suffolk
the
County.
property has to be mowed,
Right.
and that's something that we can talk about as well.
Yeah, I think my only suggestion during it was, I think you said your husband was gonna do like an aerial like this. Is now that the grass isn't growing yet, I would go down there to see the level
Right.
of everything, and because then that grass is just gonna be,
Right.
you're not gonna wanna go in there, so see how everything's gonna be able to stand up or whatnot, because it's a little uneven.
We'd have to spray for ticks too. So we would have,
Oh, yes,
so it's horrible over there.
it is.
I have to spray at my house, so I get it.
I would be interested in looking to see this go forward. I would be interested in seeing a more finite plan.
Oh, of course,
You know,
right, right.
but as far as saying yay or nay, I would say yay, you know.
I would too.
I would favor having this event.
And we do a lot of promotions for families because we know right now it's, you know, and always it's very hard. And so we are strictly a family event. Like that's just what we want. We want families to make memories. We have rides for 2-year-olds all the way up to people who like to puke. So the thrill seekers. So we do really steep discounts online prior to the event that we heavily promote through mailings and Facebook and Instagram posts to give families the opportunity to make this an affordable event for them.
What is your price point?
$35 wristbands, and that's all day. So if you buy it on a Saturday, you have virtually 11 hours. And then you buy single tickets as well. And then but like I said, we have coupons, which is a $5 off coupon, and we have the promotions that really have taken.
You said you heavily discount with the promotion.
Yeah, we do like family 4-packs and all of that, where you could, you know, you'd like buy 2, get 1 free and like stuff like that. And then as it gets closer to the event, the discounts kind of fade out. But we do promote those discounts. That way it is affordable for families because we know it's hard.
Yeah, like I said, they have a track record, so that's good. I know when they called me, I knew who they were. I never met them personally, but the JVC guys and the guy that's running the concessions there, Andrew, who's actually might open a restaurant here in Riverhead. I help him out still from time to time there during the summer when they run the concerts there. So I thought it might be something that we could explore. And if we get to go ahead here, then we'll just, everybody will get to work, get the details done, meet with who we have to meet with the town, police department, you know, get everything, get that application filled out. Because it's town property, we're not gonna meet the deadline, so I would ask them, maybe we just don't pay the penalty. We're gonna pay for everything else, but just accept the application as we give it to you, since it's town property, because the 255 really was originally meant for non-town property. In other words, when you had events at your,
Yeah,
like the
parade-
Polish Hall,
parade and
we had to do a
assembly
255, so you needed extra time to get everything. But and we're gonna provide everything, the insurance costs, reimbursement to the town meeting. So basically, the only thing we want the town to do here is enjoy it and make money, and not have to worry about any costs.
Ray, you okay?
Yeah, my only one concern, which I've expressed, is just the parking and logistics of the parking, but if we can work something out.
Absolutely.
Well, we
as long as it
can
doesn't
play
affect the
around
And
with
we
the site
can
plan
meet
too,
and,
to make sure it works.
right.
Timmy.
This was just to see, like, are we going to move forward? And then, like I said, this is a piece of paper that no one put this
Yeah,
hard in
yeah, I
stone.
have some
We
ideas
can,
and
yeah,
we can
and we
figure it out.
can meet with you at the
Yeah.
property and
Yeah, but I think
figure
it's a
out
great
how it
idea.
worked best.
The event that you had prior, where is that?
It's in Hicksville.
I think Brookhaven is in the middle of the summer, right? When is Brookhaven?
Bald Hill
Yeah, Bald Hill.
is the first weekend in May.
Oh, so it's, yeah,
early.
right, May, and then you come, and then you want to.
Very popular. over
We
Yeah,
there.
have,
that's enough of a span. I just wanted to see how close
Oh, yeah.
it was going to
No,
be. if it
and
was
honestly, we hold 2 carnivals every single week, and we do Levittown and Merrick train station the same exact weekend, and they're 7 miles apart from each other, and we've been doing that for years. So I know Nassau is a little densely populated, but with Bald Hill and this being so separate, it's not an issue.
And I think that's graduation weekend too. That gives
Yes.
families something to do over the week, over that weekend.
And like I said, we were looking to grow this event. We're looking to possibly, we could, sometimes we have like free acts come in, whether it be a circus or some other thing to also offer to the families.
I have an idea about the ice rink group, which I'll run by them. Maybe we can do something during this event to help them out too. Well, I have an idea, but I'll discuss it with them first, and I'll talk to you, Ken, about it, okay?
You gonna put ice skates on for us and go around the rink?
I played hockey up until I was 40 years old.
Really?
I played it in college. I got involved with Ed Brody. I knew all the Islanders. I know Jerry Hart, who built the Twinks rinks in
Yeah, I know all that.
Upwalk.
Okay, well, that joke backfilled on us.
That's why I went a long time ago. I used to play at 11 o'clock at night and end up in the rendezvous at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't go to sleep because we finished playing hockey. And with the ice rinks, it's electricity, and that's why Jerry, and when he opened up his, right near where the casino is now, and up there, he had to build he built his own power plant, so that during the demand time, he generated his own electricity to keep the bill down from local, in those days, local, okay? And I think the rink is still in operation, there's two of up there.
The
Two
rinks?
rinks.
The
Are they
rink
still
itself?
up there?
Yeah, I'm always up there.
Yeah, that's the ex-Islanders, and Bobby Nystrom, they used to always go there. And Jerry Hart, at one time, we looked at where the ice rink is, our roller rink is now. They actually looked at it at the time to build an ice rink in Starsky's Park, but it never worked out, so.
That's actually,
Okay,
Okay.
so, do we think this event is okay? Are we excited?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And I did some rough calculations on the parking, and you have a lot of parking, even if you're 200 feet away from the
Yeah,
ice rink.
yeah.
Because this number, I got a bigger number of this.
Okay.
50. So, yeah.
All right, so we'll get to work.
We wanted to hear more of big scoring percentages.
His glory days of ice skating. It was
Look,
very
I've been
nice
around
meeting with
Thank
you, and
you.
we're excited to work with you
Thank you very
and put on this event.
We look forward to it.
Yes, of
Thanks.
course.
Thank you.
And if you come out, just ask for Jacqueline, and I'll take you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Ray. All right, next up, we have matters surrounding the monthly police report with Chief Frost.
Doing today?
Very good. How are you?
All right. Overall, we're kind of like in a status quo. If you guys have your report.
We do.
Criminal incidents. 144. We go to page, again, I'm big on the NIBRS reporting. Page 3 and 4. You can see February we had 142. March we're at 144. I don't know if it's due to you can't track it to it, but obviously shoplifting is down. It went from 39 to 25. Obviously we are definitely pushing that investigations and, working with the loss prevention of the stores, and as well as I brought up in the last meeting, getting a burglary charge from just a simple shoplifting with the trespass. We actually had one of the burglaries here is one of those cases.
Great.
I think that's probably helping, because then people are realizing not to come here, where, to this area. Deer strikes are 9 compared to 7 last year. Bob, just let you guys know.
I gave you the overall number for Suffolk County, it was way over 1,000.
Yeah, they're,
Stony Brook did a whole thing with using auto body shops and everything. They looked at everything.
pretty much it. Obviously,
A lot of people.
I did bring this up in these department head meeting. We're participating in the Governor Traffic Safety Committee No Empty Chair campaign. No Empty Chair specifically addresses teen driving safety education and enforcement campaign through awareness of highway dangers, and hope there will be no empty chairs during the prom, which Councilwoman WASKI brought up, is coming up shortly. So we're addressing certain infractions that address that: speeding in school zones, seat belts and child restraints, cell phones, texting while driving, and obviously, unfortunately, underage drinking and impaired operation. Coming up shortly, we do go into the schools, to the high school, and give a presentation for DWI laws and, obviously dangers of drinking and driving, and during the prom season. So that's pretty much all I have. If you guys have anything else for me?
You know, I was going to mention, Chief, there's a program, someone was talking about it the other day, that the charter school does where they wear these goggles.
The goggles, yeah.
The beer goggles
Yeah.
to show kids how, what.
We have
how
those.
impaired- Do you do that with the high
Yeah.
school students as well?
It's more of a bigger presentation, but we, in smaller groups, the SROs deal with that in classrooms.
Thank you.
No problem.
Very good. Thank you, Chief.
We just picked up our third motorcycle yesterday.
All right.
So, it's obviously gonna get set up. Like I said, it'll be a lot faster than the last two, just because everything, all the vendors are set up and they already had pre-ordered a lot of equipment, so they'll be turning around a little bit faster than the other two.
Excellent.
Thank
You
you.
know when you need me to test that out.
I will. Take it
Just in
easy.
time with the weather to break, too.
Yes.
so. Good.
Excellent.
Thank you. All right, we're going to change the order a little bit here, and we're going to call up Mr. Lasquadro and your group. Would you guys please come on up?
How are you today?
I am well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Give you some room.
Good to see you.
So we heard Vic talking about the need for electricity for hockey rinks, so maybe this will help.
Well, he played before electricity was invented, so that was part of it.
I would never say
The
that,
wooden skates that
but I
he
wouldn't
used
deny
were-
it either.
Yeah.
Stephen, if you could just introduce yourself
Sure.
and the rest of the team, and then
I
I'll
sure will,
introduce the
Matt.
topic.
Thank you. So Stephen Lasquadro, the attorney for EC Battery Energy Storage. To my left is Gus Hadidi, and Gus is one of the principals of Rhineland Energy, and Rhineland is the developer of this project. To my right is Paul Rogers. Paul is one of the principals of ESRG, the Emergency Safety Response Group. And
Paul's been here before.
Yes.
And
And Paul's
gave us
very
in the
humble.
early days with the battery and energy storage systems, yes.
Paul's very humble, so he would not tell you that he's really, the foremost expert on these matters from a safety and fire perspective in the country.
I have read that in many of the documents.
And
that
he
we've
certainly
looked at.
is. Very happy that he's here. I've worked with Paul
Absolutely.
on many matters across the island.
Good.
And Paul and I have collaborated with Andrew Smith, your fire marshal. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then, of course, we have Walter Sieber from IMEG, and IMEG are the engineers and architects who consult and do the work for the project. So, Matt, that's our introduction. Do you?
That's good. I'll go through my staff report, and
Okay,
if you guys
perfect.
want to give a better idea of how the site functions and
Sure.
a little bit more about battery storage, I think that's probably the best thing. Just so the town board is aware, this is a 60 megawatt Tier 2 battery energy storage system. It's proposed at 104 Edwards Avenue in Calverton. If the board's familiar, this is where the Farm Bureau is currently headquartered. There's a fuel storage, bulk fuel storage facility to the north, railroad to the south, and the cabinet maker across the street. So just so we understand the context of battery energy storage, town board did adopt a battery energy storage code in April of 2023. This application in particular requires a special permit and a site plan application. Special permit is with this board, site plan's with the planning board. This application was caught in the moratorium because this was in the whole Calverton industrial area. So any site plan and special permit were captured by this moratorium. So once that ended, we adopted our new zoning for the area. This picked up back up again. The state has updated their, green energy guidance, so they're looking actually to do 6,000 megawatts of energy storage by 2030. This is up from 3,000, so this would be sort of lumped into that. So I would expect RFPs to come out and more of these applications to come in. As I said, this is in Calverton Industrial. It's currently an improved property where everything is going to come down. Going through the report, I just have some aerials on the second page. The real nuts and bolts of this, in terms of secrets and unlisted action, I'm recommending coordinated review with the agencies listed, so the Planning Commission, DEC, SHPO, the Planning Board, the Water District, and PSEG. Then we have a nice code compliance section, so it makes it nice and easy to understand how this complies with our battery code. It largely does. I'm going to go just through the highlights rather than bore you through the whole thing. I know it's 20 pages, it's a lot to understand. But for the most part, this does comply. Some of the things that need to be addressed, just in terms of lot coverage, we did amend our lot coverage definition last year. These allow 75% lot coverage. It's indicated as 25, probably due to pervious asphalt, but they'll likely comply. In terms of setbacks, this complies. It's 10 feet, that's from the state, so these facilities only have to be 10 feet from another structure. In terms of buffering and screening, we do require that these properties are screened, just to minimize view, similar to what we do with solar. They're indicating a 5-foot buffer around the whole site. This might be helpful. Justin? If you can hear me.
Justin?
There's work session attachments. There's a site plan that's on the website, if we can call that up. It might just be easier for everybody to see. So they do show a 5-foot buffer that goes around the whole property. It's a little bit, it's deeper on the front, but side and rear. 5 is it's pretty narrow. You can see through it. I think it might be beneficial if we can go to 10. We might just have to squeeze the development down a little bit. Moving forward, on page 6. We have accessory principal use. This is a principal use, which is allowed. Avoidance areas, so just so the public knows.
I'm sorry, Matt.
Yes, Bob.
They're asking, do you have a copy of that on the table that he can zoom into?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Hold that right in the middle, please. Just the general site plan is fine. Whatever shows the most. Yeah, I know. Right in the middle.
I just want to get to the, supervisor asked if you just put it in the middle. I'm going to do that. I just want to get to the right one.
All right, so for everyone to understand the context of our code, it didn't sort of just come out of the blue. It's actually mostly the NYSERDA code, which they developed a model code for battery energy storage, and then we added a little bit more Riverhead-specific things to get it in the best possible locations with the best conditions, I think, for the town. So one of the things we included were avoidance areas. So these are flood hazard areas, open space areas, wetland jurisdiction, historic areas, I think, are in here too. Yep, historically, culturally significant areas, conservation areas. This project is not in any one of those, so it meets it's not in any avoidance area, not in jurisdiction of any wetlands. In terms of site planning, they have, as you have all seen, I gave you a nice packet of information. It's got an expanded EAF, it's got their site plans, they have all that. It's been referred to the fire marshal, so things we ask are our fire safety compliance plan, erosion sediment control plans, we have all that. It's being referred out and being, sort of reviewed by all our departments. Fencing requirements are all met, lighting is met. One thing I did ask for, which Stephen has provided me via email, was a sound study, just because there's noise from all the fans on each cabinet, but the transformer makes noise and the switchgear makes noise. So we would just want to make sure that's not going to negatively impact any residents, which there's residents to the south across the railroad tracks. But based on the information that we have, it's not going to really be any louder than the current ambient noise conditions that are there. Moving forward, so we do have a decommissioning requirement. We have a decommissioning plan. That just needs to be updated so we can see the true cost of decommissioning and stuff like that. It is a special permit, so we'll have to meet the special permit requirements for any other specially permitted use in the town. That's on page 12. And then getting into the referrals, this is where we can get a little bit more information on stuff that's missing or stuff that we need. SHPO, which we got correspondence back in January. No impact on any historic structures or archaeologically sensitive areas. The town engineer, that was in January as well. It just needs some updates on the plan, some information that needs to be clarified. This property will need a SWIP just due to the level of disturbance. It's over an acre. DEC, it's not in jurisdiction of Wild Scenic Rivers, which is good. As I said before, no wetlands in sight. They are, and no tiger salamanders, they are within 3 miles of a roosting site for northern long-eared bat, as are pretty much everything in the town. So there'll be the requirement that they can't clear trees between March and November of any calendar year. Planning Commission, this did go before the Planning Commission back in February. They passed a resolution to approve on their end. They did have conditions. So the first was related to hazmat training. So if the board's not aware, there had been several incidents throughout the state, one in East Hampton, two upstate, that, there was a fire at these facilities, and they implemented with the fire safety working group, which Paul, I believe, was a part of, to study the root cause of these fires and how to address that. There are code recommendations in the state fire code that have been recommended. They haven't been adopted yet. One of those was mandatory hazmat training. So that's what the Planning Commission is recommending, hazmat training, which I believe the applicant is willing to do to train our local first responders in how to respond to the site. The second is full containment of stormwater on site. So right now, I believe it's just gravel. The Planning Commission would like to see actual containment on site. So if there is some sort of emergency and there's a runoff, heavy metals from the battery, that stormwater is contained, it's not running off the property and getting into the groundwater more quickly.
Matt, our best code is basically, we adopted what NYSERDA recommended.
Correct. And we beefed it up for, our local standards, but it's what
Right.
NYSERDA recommended
And
largely.
then also, the governor had put a commission together to look into battery, and they came up with some recommendations. And my understanding is we're going to add those if it's anything different than what we currently have.
So likely, I don't know that anything will change in the battery code itself. It's really on the fire
Fire
code
code.
Right.
end of things, which the state has to do, but it's everything that we've asked for in terms of complying with those recommendations, the applicants do. So that's the hazmat training and stuff like that. Another thing the Planning Commission would like to see is a demolition and recycling plan. I think that could probably be incorporated into the decommissioning plan, just to see, where everything's going once this is decommissioned. That's pretty much it. I know this is a lot, so consulting engineer, same thing, he just needs updates in terms of decommissioning costs, details for the sound wall, which these are all, sort of site planning and special permit, traditional things that we can work out through the process. Fire district did outline that they don't have a vehicle that's capable of going through here, and the fire marshal's office has asked that the applicant put in a staging area outside the fence in the event that there is emergency. Sometimes these burn for a long period of time, so they like to stage and, be able to have like a command post at a safe distance, because pretty much the recommendation now is you put water on this to stop it from spreading. Other than that, I know this is a lot of information, but this is your first look. So it's a lot to understand, and I think the applicant can explain a little bit more how this works, and if the board has any questions.
How many BESS systems are there currently in the United States?
But over 700,
Over
large
700.
scale.
Right.
There's thousands of smaller scale facilities, but 700 of this size or larger.
Okay. And obviously, we hear about the one in East Hampton and the two upstate, but from what I've read, and maybe you guys can clarify this, those were older systems where the systems today are more updated, and by the time this is ever built, it will be the top of what's out there and the safest of what's out there. And some of the incidents out in East Hampton and upstate were with older models, and they were with switch problems.
That's my understanding.
Which I think
Paul
that
might be able
has
to-
been corrected.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think maybe we could answer, a number of things, and then go back even to talk about some aspects of the site, but maybe it might be worthwhile, because we know it's something that's always on everyone's mind, is what's being done from a fire safety perspective. Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. The technology has evolved, and it's ever evolving. Much has been done with respect to training and safety. We've had a very good collaboration with Andrew Smith, your fire marshal, and also with the fire commissioners. We met with them. So training will be made available to the commissioners, to the chiefs, to the entire fire district in Riverhead, to all members of the department. In addition, I think it will be important to the board to know that Jamesport, Wading River, surrounding jurisdictions would also have that training be made available to them. Maybe, Paul, you could talk a little bit more about the training and what we would do, and also the distinction with what happened in East Hampton as opposed to the evolving technology here.
Yeah, thanks. You gave a good summary. I
Yeah,
don't think
good.
I need to say anything.
Yes.
It was really good. Yeah, so the training is always important, and what we like to do, and something that was put into the code is we talked about site-specific training, not just generalized training, but the actual site itself, emergency shuttles, maybe what type of battery energy storage system they have, and all the different aspects that actually go with the actual battery energy storage. So it's important that they understand that we try to keep it on a high level, but the actual goal is to make sure that they can manage the incident. And then we get into a little bit about BMS data and all the different things that look at the state of health of the battery as they would be managing the incident. I'd like to say extinguish, but we are gonna be able to manage it, and we can talk further in detail once we deal with the fire department on that side. As far as East Hampton is concerned, there wasn't a lot of information that was put out there. We were actually looking to grab any information that was readily available.
Paul, you might just have to speak up a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. As far as East Hampton is concerned, we were trying to get all that information too, and it wasn't readily available to us. So I really can't speak too deep into it because I don't know the deep details of it, and it would be, not what I usually do. If I don't know it, I'm not going to be able to speak about it.
Appreciate that.
So, but the nice thing is that we didn't see anything that get outside the building itself. It stayed contained, and from what I understand, it is now up and running again.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and that was an older type of technology. That was actually before the codes were mature at that particular time. So, and that was also a big dedicated use building, which is nothing but open racks into a building itself.
Right.
So what they're proposing here is individual cabinets, right? And the goal of the individual cabinet is decompartmentation, is that we actually keep it within the box itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to prove that through a UL testing methodology called 9540A, where they actually destroy the system itself, and they want to see the results. And the reason that they do that is because there were too many variations of things. So they said, well, if you want to get this certification, you need to do it. So there's different results depending on the chemistry you're using or depending on the battery energy storage system you're using. But all that stuff is always made available to the local jurisdiction. The local jurisdiction, Chief Smith has the opportunity to hire an outside person to come and take a look at this for peer review. That was put into code too, so that has to be paid for by the developer. And there's other aspects, and we have developed a relationship with Chief Smith. My goal is to make sure that we have people out here that know the stuff extremely well, and then a lot of people can go to them instead of coming to me. But in a good way, we do want the people to be subject matter experts, because as these things come in, my ultimate goal is to make sure the firefighters are safe. I'm not too worried about the property as much as I am about human life and things like that. So that's why we do have a good conversation, and it's an open conversation. And even one of your commissioners I did work with in the New York City Fire Department, and we've had discussions back and forth in the sense of just overall battery energy storage, not about the actual project itself, but the battery energy storage and how they're coming and moving forward. So it's an ongoing discussion, and I like that.
Oh, and Paul, one of the things I think is important too is that the commissioners did reference, as Matt mentioned, that there was an interest and concern about equipment that would be appropriate, and they did ask for a specific commitment and donation with regard to that, which was met. So that commitment has been made to the commissioners of the fire district in person, and that will allow them, in their estimation, to utilize and purchase the type of equipment that they would want.
That is Riverhead, right? That's not.
Correct.
That's
It is.
not Lower Reading, it's Riverhead
It is.
Fire District. Yeah.
So can you just tell me about the containment system? So in terms of, this is typically a surrounded drown. We're just gonna wait. So how are you distinguishing year-round between daily rainfall and how it lands on the site and how it's captured or not captured? So rainfall, we just send back into the aquifer. And all of a sudden now there's a fire, and now we need to contain that water and sometimes perhaps reuse the same water instead of completely putting a severe drain on the water system if something happens in the height of the summer. Sometimes there are basins that will catch or hold the same water that you're just basically recirculating, putting the same water back on the fire until it's too hot, So just tell me, what kind of system are you using, or how are you managing the separation of the rainfall from actual, now we're on scene, and now we're dumping water on these containers, and how are you capturing that? So, like, what, is this whole thing lined with a giant
Yes,
plastic
maybe before we
membrane?
talk about that, I think it's good maybe, Paul, to give them just an overview on that there's nothing really exotic in terms of fires in the event of a fire, in terms of contamination. So maybe we start with that, and then we can transition to stormwater.
And Paul, one of the things too, if I just may, I think would be helpful, putting it in context, is that coming out of the East Hampton situation, all DEC and State Health Department analysis, which was all made public, reflected that there was no runoff or groundwater contamination or any soil contamination or anything of the sort. One of the things too, Councilman, I think is important, just anecdotally, but we know this actually from witnesses who were there. Just as an example, you folks may know Tim McCarthy, the Suffolk County business agent for Local 25, IBEW. Now, when he heard about the situation in East Hampton, being a licensed electrician and also the business representative for IBEW, because his folks, his members, are charged with building these, he went out there and he testified at the Brookhaven Planning Board with regard to what occurred. And it was very interesting. What he said was, if you were there and I didn't tell you that a fire was occurring, you would never know, because the system functioned exactly as it was supposed to, and that is, it was contained and nothing spread outside. So there were no toxic fumes, there were no contaminants, nothing affected the soil. Just good to know that even though we're talking about an older technology, and this is much different, and this also will adhere, as was said, to the evolving code and the new fire code that is going to be adopted, that's what happened in East Hampton. So I just think to know that is important as we dive into the rest of the considerations.
Yeah, and one of the things that we talk about, water use by the first responders in the event that there was an incident. And this is why I call it incident management. We never want to take that away from them, but we also want to recognize that if you do water, we may be actually prolonging the incident from taking place. And water's a double-edged sword, meaning that if you get it inside the box that is not contained, there's a potential that you could put it on fire. And that's exactly happened in Warwick, where we had rainwater that actually got into the container itself and put that whole thing on. That was in the root cause analysis. So we really want to make sure that when they're actually showing up to the scene, that they do have that subject matter expert that is supposed to be available. That's inside the code. And we did that because of what we did in New York City. And that worked out really well, that someone needs to be available within 15 minutes. But that's all part of the operations in the event that something takes place. For instance, if you had a box here, maybe use one of these boxes here, if this is the one that's on fire. The goal of the subject matter expert is to get on a dashboard and start looking at the battery management system, that looks at the state of health of the battery. It's always collecting data. And they can look to see whether the heat is transferring from one to the other. And if it's staying within the box itself, and we've seen this, we've actually studied this on a couple of occasions. We did work for Tesla, where they actually had a fire. We wanted to know whether that heat was transferring over. And it was pretty clear that the heat was not transferring. So the ones that were right up against it, with very little separation distance, about 6 inches, that heat was not going in. So basically, they almost become an oven, where most of the heat comes out the front. And if you can take a look, right, when you have front to front here, we have a much bigger separation distance. I think it's 8 to 10 feet. Do you have that number? I can't see that.
Separation?
From front to front.
That's right, it's about 8 feet.
8 feet,
For the
yeah.
cabinet doors to open,
And,
that's right.
and that's typical, but most of that heat would come out there. So if the fire department were to use water, it would only be at the direction of the incident commander, and we would leave that. Now,
You just let it burn out, basically.
yeah,
Wait up.
it actually speeds up the
Smothers
incident.
itself.
Yeah, it speeds up the incident to allow it to just consume the energy that's inside of it. But we've had great results with the large-scale fire testing in these things, where they are purposely destroying them, and they want to see where it goes from there, and we're not really even seeing any visible smoke or fire.
But I always look at the very worst case scenario, above and beyond that, right? And that's the only reason they probably leave the coal there. So the idea of if they did have to have any type of water, and if they did have to think about using it, it would have to be strategically. And usually we have them just hitting the outside of other containers in a fog path.
That's what I heard. It's more or less used as a cooling device in the surrounding units. That's just keeping their temperature low, but you're just letting the actual battery burn itself out. And when closed lots of times, you know, the fire triangle, it just, without oxygen, eventually it's going to smother itself out. Over
That's
time.
right.
They burn for...
It's defensive firefighting. You're just cooling the surrounding and then
Yeah,
you let it burn.
yeah, that would be correct, yeah.
And just to follow up on the second part of your question, the containment, I think, happens within the units, and there's no proposal to actually line the entire site with a containment barrier. There's going to be some refinement to the stormwater management plan, but it'll be more of a collection and conveyance to stormwater structures, as noted by the Planning Commission.
Yeah, I mean, this is an ever-evolving technology, I would say, even in my experience of just when we adopted the code. We unfortunately learn a lot from these incidents. I mean, and Paul can kind of lean and speak to this too. Initially, when we saw a lot of these, they were in containerized. It was like a dedicated use building where you could actually go in. So then there was the Surprise, Arizona incident where a firefighter actually opened the unit, caused an explosion. So then that's why now they're mostly in equipment cabinets, if I understand correctly.
Correct.
And the main goal of this, which was Paul was speaking about, is to prevent what's called thermal runaway. So that's why they're separated into individual cabinets, because it's the heat that transfers and then the whole thing could essentially go up. So that's why they're designed this way. There's a monitoring system that's operational 24 hours a day. So there's a lot of protections in place. And from what I understand from the Fire Safety Working Group, all the safety measures worked correctly. It was defaults in the batteries or the switch gears themselves that caused the issue.
I do want to comment on these 15 recommendations that I'm glad to see that you've read them and you understand them and that you're adopting them. That will make the New York State Fire Code the strictest in the country as a result of the closing the gaps. There's a lot of open windows, but we close all those windows and we made it the way it is, those recommendations, which, to be honest with you, I was kind of surprised that the Department of State accepted all of them in their drafts. So it's in the second draft right now, and everything that we made a recommendation for is still in that second draft. So it looks like it's going to be codified.
Good.
I have one question. It's just speaking about water. How high off the ground are they? Just say we get, because rainfall these days can be 4 inches in an hour, right? And then I don't know how the gradient is there,
Yeah. So for a SWIP, they have to, I believe, capture a half an inch rainfall event in an hour. That could be wrong.
It'll be a function of the pre and post.
So it's a significant amount
stormwater quality calculation.
For a SWIP itself, you have to be able to capture a significant amount of water itself. These are elevated. I don't know what the top of the bottom of the cabinet is, but I can't see a situation where
I'm
the whole
talking
thing
about
would be.
from the ground up. I mean,
Yeah.
if this was my project, if I'm you, I want that thing high off the ground, right?
So
'Cause,
there's
Platform.
Typically, I mean, we have them on 6-inch slabs.
Yeah.
But obviously, all these cabinets are NEMA rated for rain, for hurricanes,
Inundation,
for
right.
any events that would try to trigger flooding or effectively water getting into the system.
Yeah, and there'll be a grading and drainage plan that shows positive pitch away from the units in each one of the slabs that contain the batteries and volume. I believe the plan right now is a 3-inch storage volume across the site. So
I think one of the good things Supervisor mentioned as well is that from your perspective, your Fire Marshal Andrew has been very active on a state level, really taking a leadership role in understanding how this
We are
functions.
very lucky to have him as our fire marshal.
Yeah, he's very talented. And in fact, in furtherance of that, yesterday, Paul and I, with a group of other folks, were actually in Staten Island. And we toured and had a greater understanding of an actual functioning BESS, it was a battery energy storage facility, that was actually dropped literally into the middle of a residential neighborhood. The setbacks are 20 feet to the fence line, and in some cases 35 feet to some people's back porches. But it functions well without incident, and it was very enlightening to see the safety measures in place and to not just look at it theoretically. So that was an eye-opener, and I'd say, Paul, we spent a little over 2 hours there with Andrew and NYSERDA folks from around the state. And then also, just to add to that, as I mentioned, Andrew facilitated the meeting with the fire commissioners for the Riverhead Fire District. The discussion of the vehicle that they would need and the equipment was addressed.
I was going to ask you about
Yes.
that, because in his report, he says he does not have that, that hazmat response vehicle that would
Yes.
be necessary to respond to
Right,
these
well, to be
fires.
very specific, what
Yeah.
one of the commissioners said was, they thought that approximately $80,000 would cover the equipment that they needed, the vehicle specifically. But we thought it was best, knowing that there can be price fluctuations, and often supply chain issues, you never know. So the commitment was made by the developer to give $100,000. So it
Towards
went.
the
it went-
purchase of the.
Towards the
Yes,
purchase.
so it went above and beyond their request, but we thought that was most appropriate because this way there could never be an issue with them sourcing and obtaining the equipment and the vehicle in particular that they truly want. And then, as I mentioned also, because I know you know, to the board in particular, it's important to know that the training will be extended to Jamesport, Wading River, other surrounding jurisdictions,
Annabelle.
you know, as needed and as wanted.
And this is not a one-off training, this is gonna be a
Continual.
Yes.
continual, yeah, that's right.
Aren't there battery storage units in skyscrapers of some sort?
So, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
There's UPS systems, and there's a difference on the use case on how they use them, but they're lead acid, to be transparent. They're lead acid based, they're legacy batteries, they've been around since World War II, we had them in the submarines. They now have lithium-ion batteries, believe it or not, in submarines. When we were first doing our work in the New York City Fire Department, we met with the military and we went over this with them. So,
You involved in the Shrum Nuclear Power Plant project over in Brookhaven? That side for the best?
I am,
service? Okay.
yes.
Paul
No
will
way.
be very humble, but he's intimately involved with, I think, with a lot of the NYSERDA stuff, just in developing the code and the safety measures. If you can speak a little to your resume and how you got here, I think it'll give the board a level of appreciation and comfort.
Do we have an,
I know.
Do we have an hour?
I've done a lot, I've done a lot.
Yeah.
Supervisor, I think some final thoughts are is just, obviously, we concur with the staff report, you know, particularly with the approach regarding CERU and the coordinated review.
Thank you.
The report, you'll note, indicates that most every standard is already met. But as Matt said, there can be a little fine-tuning, some clarification. We're already working on that. And with respect to the buffering, he's requesting that it go a little bit beyond in certain instances. And we've already requested that our engineers work to try to adapt to that. So I think you'll see 99% compliance on what is an appropriately zoned site. But we're taking those extra steps now to just finish up those final details.
Just wish it would bring down the cost of electricity to our residents, but it really doesn't. Maybe it could help stabilize.
It helps with stabilization, I would
Yes,
say, and
yeah.
maybe Gus can speak to that too. So it, you know, the way these things work,
Yep.
the battery stores it when there's, you know, when it's being produced a lot, and when low demand, and then sells it back to the grid when there's high demand.
Yeah, that's
In
right.
the news yesterday, it sounds like you might want to go down to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
We lost, I don't know, 3 million customers yesterday out again. The grid is
The entire
horrible.
island.
That's always happening.
Yeah,
What's-
scary.
You know, what's interesting to me
Very
about
sad.
battery storage, it's my understanding, and I just was on a call with B&L the other night, we lose about 60% or 65% of the energy, the electrical energy that goes through wires. It goes, it's not used, and it dissipates. And what this does is it captures it and for reuse.
That's right.
you know,
Correct.
So, and
You know, it's a good location. It's proximate to a lot of
I
the
think it's
large-scale
great. Yeah.
solar facilities that we have in the town, so that's where it's being produced. It's a good interconnect point, so there's a substation right behind this property, so it's kind of It's a pretty good location.
That's right, and it's a viable interconnect point. Just to talk a little bit about the interconnection process, which is almost a 4-year process here with the New York ISO. We've gone through this whole process. We're in fact about to execute the large interconnection agreement for this site. We've tendered close to $10 million of deposits to interconnect at this substation, so everything is deemed viable. We're not in early stages of interconnection. You'll see a lot of projects that will come in and, you know, I'm not going to say waste your time, but they're not going to have the interconnect entitlements that we have here. So we're almost there in terms of getting things done. And then just to answer your question, in terms of the thesis for why battery storage, you know, Long Island is heavily congested from a transmission perspective, there's a lot of losses, like you said, with running electricity through the wires. So the thesis is this could be an extension of the aging transmission system, localized, where you're able to store and reuse energy on a local level as opposed to traveling all the way back to New York City. So
No, and the county executive just is, you know, is asking the LIPRA, PSC&G to really, you know, beef up their substations on Long Island, because there's, you know, for this reason, for this and for solar, so it's good.
Yeah, I think maybe a final thought is, supervisors, that everybody knows or speaks to a lot of the renewable energy benefits, because this is designed to sustain and promote the deployment of renewable energy sources, which presumably will make the environment cleaner and improve quality of life. But there's also another aspect that's not talked about as much, but clearly it's equally as important, and that is that a lot of LIPA's infrastructure is very antiquated. And this is designed to strengthen and harden that. And we all know, increasingly so it seems, that we're susceptible to storms, and this will be really critical to deploy in anticipation of those type of events.
We're going to certainly, as I'm sure you will all agree, there are residents that are going to be very concerned about this and have fears and everything else. I would just recommend to those residents, number one, try to educate yourself. There's a lot of information available on BESS systems. And locally, you can call our planning department, you can talk to Matt Charters, you can talk to Andrew Smith, our head fire marshal. They'd be more than willing to answer any questions and concerns that residents might have.
Yes.
This is, to me, they're coming. We're not going to stop them. We can't stop them from coming. It's just a matter of the way that energy is being developed and tried to be stored, and make sure we have enough for everybody to use, and there's so many factors involved in it. So it's not a matter of, are you coming or aren't you coming? We know you're coming, but we want to make sure it's done absolutely the safest way it can, and with the guidelines from the state and everybody else, and people like yourself, Mr. Rogers, making sure that it's going to be the safest it absolutely can be. I think we can lessen some of those concerns of the residents.
One thing, maybe just a final thing, would be that as you, the board, may direct, you know, perhaps through Matt or through Andrew, if there are particular people you would like us to meet with who are reaching out to you, we'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
Maybe you could address concerns that they have ahead of time.
Sure,
That's fine.
absolutely.
I remember, I'm sure you do, Supervisor, was it 3 years ago? And there was a mob in the old town hall, and it was so great to hear you, because you were very, very clear on what was going on and, you know, the safety of blah, blah, blah. And for me, it was like, remember that?
Yeah,
I thought, I was like, oh, good. Now I'm getting a real education.
All right. So this will be on with the planning board this afternoon for discussion. We have the site plan end of the application, and then we'll move on in the secret process once we do those tweaks that Steve outlined.
Nobody ice skates?
No more ice skating stories.
That's it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Appreciate it.
See you all this afternoon.
Thank you. Devin, do we have any particular order we're going to now, or?
The other one will be a little.
Okay. Makes sense. All right, we will be moving on to matters surrounding site plan, special permit for Calverton Satellite Earth Station. With Matt Charters and for the following gentlemen who are coming up.
Come have a seat, guys.
Good morning.
Just introduce yourself for the record, and then I'll,
Absolutely. Good morning. My name is Jordan Fry. I'm a partner at the law firm of Snyder in Tarrytown. Here today.
Welcome out to the East End.
Oh, thank you. We're here. With me today is John Fazio, who's the project manager for this application. Happy to introduce the project. So it consists of proposed satellite Earth station in the Calverton subdivision 2. As you're aware, this honorable board did adopt a satellite Earth station law that was effective in August. Prior to that adoption, the project had commenced pursuant to federal law, and approximately half of the facility is constructed. But since that time, we've halted any further work so that we can comply with the standards of the new special permit requirements and submit all necessary application materials in connection therewith.
You made my job very easy, thank you. Just so the board's aware, I believe back in late 2023 or 2024? 24, that's when construction really started on this. So they did put in 20 satellite antennas, just so the board is aware. Similar to how cell towers work, they're federally exempt, just a different statute. The technology is similar to how a satellite works on your house. The signal goes to a satellite in space and goes down, I guess, to the antenna here, then gets transmitted to the end user.
Correct.
This is, if everyone's familiar with Starlink, this is a Starlink facility to the best of my understanding. Pretty low impact site. This is in EPCAL. It's in the southwest corner of the property, 317, 319 Berman. If you look at my staff report, first page, or sorry, the second page, you guys not get color, I'm sorry. So it's a very small area in the southwest corner where the installation is. The nearest right of way is Scott Avenue, which is everyone's been through there. It sort of hooks around and comes down. There's some boat storage over there. Can't see it from the road. Can't really see it from anywhere that's publicly accessible. In terms of our code, that's correct. Last summer, we did adopt a code that deals with this. It follows a similar standard to how we treat cell towers because it's a very similar thing. Most of the standards are met. They are asking for one waiver just in terms of our screening and vegetation requirement, which I think in this case is pretty reasonable. They'll still have a privacy fence around. They're just asking for a little leniency on vegetation. Can't see this anyway, so I don't think it's a ridiculous request. Other than that, you have the full gamut of this application because it is an EPCAL. You have site plan and special permit. There's really not much to say about this. They're pretty low impact in terms of radiation hazard. Similar to cell tower, we asked for an RH report. And this is all within the permissive levels.
So this honorable board has site plan as well, as my understanding, planning board. But
No, so in this instance, because of where it's located in EPCAL, it's an urban renewal area, so the town board has site plan review. So it's a one-stop shop, which is good for you guys. The hearings could be held at the same time as long as we notice them properly, but that's my recommendation. In terms of secret, this is also unlisted. Recommending not coordinating review because there's no one really to coordinate with on this. It's been to the town engineer and the fire marshal. Neither department had any concerns. So I think at the next possible juncture, we can get this on to schedule a public hearing and then move forward. They did get violations, which I believe you guys have addressed, and we'll go forward from there. Let them complete their project.
Matt, are we putting in there that if there's any kind of storm here and all the electric's out, that they would supply free Wi-Fi?
That'd be nice. That's really up to the applicant. I guess you'd have to have the...
in other parts of the world and parts of the country.
You'd have to have the ability to receive it, I guess, to be a customer. I don't know.
Yeah, it's similar to the cell carriers. We're happy, we're going to provide the necessary infrastructure, there's,
I
from our
understand.
perspective. But it's an option. And it's new infrastructure, and it's reliable.
Yeah, I would say, for the public, this is it's becoming more popular, but it's not a new technology. The statute federally on this is from 1996, so I don't think there's a lot of concern on this. I believe it's the same Transmission is like an antenna on top of your television, if I understand correctly, like gravity, or so there's not really a risk.
The people I know using Starlink love it.
Yeah.
I mean, they love it.
Always good for a little competition in terms of ISPs, so I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
And it's also providing support to some of the wireless communication carriers as well. They're starting to overlap, so it's definitely great infrastructure to be brought to your town.
Yeah, so if you see the picture of them, it's like a big radio dome. It's about, each one's about 8 feet tall, and there'll be 40 of them total, totally surrounded by a fence. You won't really know it's there.
Like these guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't. I agree with Bob. I know my son uses it up in Vermont. You know, he's in the middle of nowhere. If he wants to see TV and watch a ball game, he needs it. So he's very happy with it. And it just provides that to areas all over the world that don't have easy internet, you know, connection. Or it's a changing with the times, if you will.
Yes.
We went from aluminum foil on our rabbit ear antennas on our TVs when I was a kid to now Starlink and beyond. So.
Yeah, it's getting to, hard to build areas in terms of getting fiber down and things of that nature. So
Right.
it's a great technology.
Yeah.
In terms of scheduling the public hearing, does that have to be scheduled? Can that be scheduled today, or do we have to?
At the next town board meeting, provided I meet the deadlines, which I will, it'll go on to schedule. And then it's just a matter of the town board's schedule is when it's going to be heard, but it's usually pretty quick.
We have
This
to
is-
pass a resolution in
yeah,
order to
schedule
schedule
it,
it.
yeah.
So it's a
Understood.
sequence that
Yeah.
has to, so
Sure.
he's keeping you in sequence.
Keep it that's what town hall should process. But it should happen relatively quickly. All right?
Excellent.
Any other
Thank you.
questions for you guys?
I'm good.
Good.
Appreciate everyone's
Thank
time.
you, gentlemen.
Thanks for coming in, guys. Appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. Thank you.
Matt, you're done for the day. All right, where are we at here? I don't see.
Eric's gonna cover for Ricky.
Okay, there we go then. All right, next up, matters surrounding the code enforcement monthly report.
Good
Good morning.
So we'll try to cover for Rich, who is always very thorough.
Okay,
You got big shoes to fill.
yeah.
They are, yeah.
Where's your
So-
badge? I didn't see your badge.
No, they don't give me a badge.
Okay,
I don't get a badge.
Undercover.
undercover.
Yeah. All right, so code enforcement opened up 50 new complaint investigations in March. Looks like most of them, or a good amount of them, were no certificate of occupancy, no building permit, a couple of illegal apartments, and then some other general property maintenance issues. We have 162 cases that are still under investigation from last year. In the month of March, issued 83 new summonses and notices of violation, including no rental permit, no building permit, no certificate of occupancy, litter violations, importation, exportation of materials, some overgrown weeds, rubbish, grass, parking in non-driveway areas, which have been handled by our nighttime code enforcement. We have Connor, who's doing one night a week, and we had Kyle DeRosa was 5 times a week, working at 2 to 10. He unfortunately left to go to Southampton, so we'll be looking to replace his position at some point in the near future.
And we'll have more nighttime coverage.
Yeah, we'll have more
As
nighttime
needed.
coverage. Yeah, I like having our dark skies and our parking on non-driveway area investigations happening at night. Generally, because at
People are
night
home.
That's when they're doing it.
That's when
Overcrowded
people are home,
houses,
and
too.
for the dark skies investigations, obviously you need it to be dark to see if those places are compliant. What I would say in general is, if anyone has dark skies complaints, please get those into code enforcement. That's what we have the guys on the nighttime shift for. I know that there's dark skies violations, but I'm not seeing a tremendous amount of dark skies compliance complaints coming in. So that applies to anybody, you know, if you see something that you think might not be compliant, just, you know, either let my office know or code enforcement know. Some unsafe building structures, violation of approved site plan. There's a couple wetland violations in March, unregistered vehicles, and other property maintenance code violations. Our code enforcement didn't refer any new cases for Supreme Court in the month of March, but in March, we did commence, or well, we commenced recently on Maureen's Haven and on 1944 Wading River Manor Road.
Right.
We had a TRO on that. There was, I think, about 27 people living in that house. When Victoria comes up on the Justice Court report, maybe she can give a little bit better update on the status of it, because the defendant did, you know, retain counsel and appear.
I'll say it's exhausting to the Wading River Fire Department volunteers that have to continuously respond, and it is abusive to our police resources, the amount and volume of calls in which they receive to one location.
And it's very upsetting
it's
to the
running.
neighbors in that neighborhood. They're very concerned.
Interested in actually taking that one in particular into consideration. This is an item that I think will be on next week, but my office was working with Rich Downs on an amendment to our Chapter 251 code relating to public nuisances. We'll, I believe, be coming in next week to review that with the town board and see if we want to go to a public hearing on it. But just as a general preview right now, it's mostly designed to make it easier for us to pursue civil remedies for public nuisance. It sort of broadens what we consider to be a public nuisance and allows us to incorporate more of these quality of life, sort of neighborhood issue type properties into those violations.
Can I add something to that, Eric? Because when I looked into that with Andreas, apparently that house had permits. They had a permit to do recreation in the basement. They had a permit to do to turn the garage into a den. However, I think we need to look at code when somebody has a rental and they're, you know, putting it for a permit. We should have the ability to check it every 3 months.
We do.
We have that
do.
already?
Yeah, so when you sign up to get a rental permit, you're essentially consenting to code enforcement spot inspections. If you refuse to allow those spot inspections, we can revoke the rental permit.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
that's already built in. And
Good.
well, I think it's interesting, and obviously Deputy Town Attorney CERU, Pilo, can speak to this. I have to get used to that. Can speak to this a little more when she comes up. But the owner of 1944 testified in court on our TRO application and acknowledged that he was going to have people living in that area of the house, notwithstanding the fact that it was the building permit said recreation and den space. So we ordered the transcript from that, and we'll be getting that to the building department so that they're aware of that prior to them issuing any final certificate of occupancy for that space in the house.
I can testify for you because I've carried people out of that basement and out of that garage.
Yep. Yeah, it's a bad situation, but we do, I think, have it under a modicum of control at this point, and hopefully we can work with the owner to get the property into compliance.
Can the building inspector go in and, you know, and check it, or does it have to be code enforcement?
When it's a rental permit, it's code enforcement.
Okay. The reason why I ask is once we get those departments electronic, it's going to be very easy for code enforcement to cross-reference.
Yeah, and I mean, if the building inspector, the building department wants to go with code enforcement, anytime they go to check it out, they can take the fire marshals with them too.
Great.
You know, it allows pretty much any enforcement official to go in and review the property.
Great.
And that new nuisance code that you're talking about, that may even help the residents at Northwood Roads that were speaking the other day.
Right.
For a lot of the problems that they're having in their neighborhood.
Yeah. I mean, it'll open it up for, you know, repeated complaints to code enforcement that are founded, whether it be property maintenance, overcrowded housing, illegal construction, illegal apartments, illegal conversions of non-residential space in these structures, and in particular, abuse of emergency services.
That's good.
And so we issued 78 new rental permits in the month of March. Code enforcement collected approximately just under $21,000 for the month of March, and that brings the first quarter revenue from rental permits to just under $95,000.
Very good.
And to Councilwoman Merrifield's point on Northwoods, I know we had a lengthy discussion about that at the town board meeting on Tuesday night. I reviewed every complaint that's come in on that property with Rich Downs and Nicole Buckner, and we are, very aware of the issues that are happening in that neighborhood, and code enforcement has been there multiple times. We have violations pending in justice court. If there comes a time that we need to take any of those properties to Supreme Court, we're prepared to do that as well.
Thank you.
Good.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we have matters surrounding the monthly town clerk report, and that will be with Vanessa Lacan. Wooten's off today.
Is he making you do this?
Vanessa's been a great deputy, and I don't know, a lot of public know her from coming into the office. Maybe there's a lot that don't know who she is, so it's important.
You want to get her face out there to
You
the
want to
public
start
on TV.
exposing her, right, exactly. She'll be shadowing me at the next town board meeting
Yes.
Good.
to learn how to do all of that.
Very good.
So we take care of quite a bit in the clerk's office. Our report just shows FOIL requests that come in, 2 special permits, our handicap tags, we do quite a bit of those as well. We stayed pretty busy with marriage licenses.
I see that.
We issued 21 of those. Death certificates are a big part of our revenue in the clerk's office.
Now, is this 358 people that passed on, or is this because you give 10 copies out or whatever?
Certificates.
No,
Right,
we're
okay.
up to about 135 deaths in Riverhead, but it's
Okay.
not just Riverhead, because it's
Right.
from the Conic,
Right.
so they come from all over surrounding towns.
Dog licenses, a lot of those come from the shelter.
Are they staying in town? I know you had a big
Yes.
concern. They are.
Only Riverhead
Yeah,
residents.
I
Okay.
don't automatically license North Fork animal welfare big dog animals anymore, only if they live in Riverhead.
Right.
I know you were
Yeah,
concerned.
talked
Good.
about
But
this.
we do sportsman kennel because they,
Yes.
their dogs are here until I.
Yard sale permits were still a little bit low, but they're picking up already for April.
Oh, just
Tis
wait.
the season.
Yeah. Not a lot of shellfish or games of chance. I do know we're going to have some more bingo permits coming in for April. And then taxi cabs, those renewals just come in monthly.
And we have a lot of special event permits coming in.
Yes, those are also picking up.
Oh, I guess I got to speak up last time. I said something. You're mumbling. So, special events permits are big.
Yeah, they're busy this month coming April.
And I know there are some because some people want to do stuff on the riverfront. I know that there's staging areas, so I told them that they really should coordinate with, maybe a town attorney or maybe CDA to find out
Probably
what's
Dawn.
even available,
Yeah.
because I don't want to tell them to go ahead and put an event in if it's not going to be available, so. I don't know when the groundbreaking happens, but I think this summer we're probably going to get started with it, I would think.
There were 2 new taxi businesses that opened this past month.
I took a shovel down there
It's just
yesterday.
one,
Yeah.
AMS, which
Just
is a
eight,
part
yeah.
of Starlight.
Call me, I'll be.
That's their
It's
medical
filling in a
side.
pothole.
The medical side, okay.
So that was just recently approved last month.
And of course, we're excited about the new software. We're
Yes.
slowly learning that, so I
Yes.
mean, that's going to be
For both FOIL and the agenda, so that'll be coming up
huge.
next month, I believe.
Yeah, so.
So you're already working on it? Like you,
We're
practicing.
okay.
There's a lot to take in, but we're confident that it's
And the only good
Gonna
thing
be an
is that
easy transition.
Vanessa and I are going to take a ride. Brookhaven's been using this program for quite a few years, and we're going to go sit down with their agenda manager and just play with us for a day show them, because they know the ins and outs of the program from using it. And that's a little different than trying to follow a tutor.
Yeah.
So,
I know it's always hard to start learning the program, and it seems like it's taking more time, but once you connect with it and
Yeah.
get it figured
You have
out.
to use it. There's only so
it's-
many trainings you can
Right.
do. You have to physically go
Yep.
through each
I've
step.
been here a year and a quarter or whatever, and now I sort of mastered Minitrack, and now I get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's typical of technology.
I know, so.
You're gonna get to the point that you're gonna be like, I can't believe we used to have that old program.
You're right,
Oh, yeah.
you're exactly right, and it's always the unknown of a new.
There's always an issue with Minitrack.
Yeah.
Just-
Well, there's no support services,
Yeah.
and they're sunsetting it, so there's just no support, that's the problem, you know, so. And the new one is web-based, it's cloud-based, so it's really, it's point and click. pretty
That's
much,
great.
Yeah.
you know, so.
And that will help the residents also.
Yes, they'll be able to, right, especially since it's coordinating with the website as well, so I mean, there'll be a lot of
And FOIA
information that they can get, probably cut down on some of the FOIL packaging, and probably do that as well.
Well, I'm gonna praise you in the New York State Department of Health Commerce system. You guys are like right on it all the time. And so we send in a request and
Yeah.
I think, sometimes I'm sitting right there and it's like, well, you have a permit. It's like, wow.
Well, with my background, yeah, I'm up on that, because I know how difficult it is
So
for
you guys
fuel
do
owners
great.
sometimes. They can't operate without a certified DC. They can't get a burial permit or a transmit permit. I come in on weekends and do it.
Yeah. You guys have been great, and I noticed that too, right on the weekends, whether you guys are taking turns or was but good job.
No, I have it on my phone, it's right down the street, so I mean, I'll just shoot in real quick and do it.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Excellent.
Very good. Well, nice job.
Yeah,
Yes.
you did great.
And this is Vanessa LeCan, everybody.
Yes.
Just for the record, I knew he couldn't sit quietly and let you do this.
Would not be able to do it.
No, it wouldn't be Jimmy Wooten.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, last but not least, we have matters surrounding monthly Justice Court report with counselors, CERU? No, Hilo? Hilo.
Took me long enough to change it.
I was gonna say, I thought that you were like married.
10 months ago.
Okay.
Everyone told me it was gonna be so difficult to change my law license and all this stuff. I put it off. It was the easiest thing I ever did.
Oh, wow.
So, there's that.
The overhead camera's getting a look at the ring. So we-
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's been there for a while. All right, so pretty standard stuff for this past month. Total parking, everything altogether, 35,545, so a little bit higher than usual, which is good. And now we finally reached 12 full months since the judges were reminded to give those surcharges. So our total for blight mitigation, and again, I sound like a broken record, but again, this is just what was imposed, not what was collected. So blight mitigation, if everybody did the right thing and paid their fines on time, we would have 17,255 just in surcharges for the month, for the year. And then human services, your open alcohol, all that stuff, 9,295. And then water quality is 250. We don't get too many water quality cases. And then hopefully next year at this time, I can report on a fire marshal. We discussed maybe creating a fund for that so that they can get some surcharges. So that is in the beginning stages of discussion. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, it was a long morning, so I'm sure that everyone's tired of asking questions, but if you have any.
I'm fascinated. We had a meeting, and the guy who owns that home that Councilman Rothwell is having a problem with the ambulances. Apparently, he's got 21 operations across, 21 to 23 operations across Nassau and Suffolk County.
So we had a hearing in Supreme Court
Yeah.
about a week ago last Thursday. I think a week or a week and a half ago. My days are getting jumbled. We did the hearing. We had one of the defendants came in and he testified to some of the details about the home. I had Nicole Buckner come in and I had her as a witness to testify as to what she noticed when she was there on a couple of times that she was there. So there were confirmed about 21 individuals,
They did have a whiteboard set up that were listing the individuals that they were collecting money from. That one went up to, I think, 26 or 27. There was a lot, as Town Attorney Howard stated, there was a lot that the defendant admitted on the record of, how many people were living there and how he did apply for a building permit while this case was pending, but he was not forthcoming in what he applied for. So we're back in Supreme Court on that this upcoming Monday, so I'll provide more updates.
I know there was an evacuation order, for April 7th, but has that been extended to when?
It was basically extended so that the owner could have the opportunity to get them out on his own. And as you said, he has about 20 other houses that he does this kind of activity. So I'm hoping that he can just move them to other homes and out of the town of Riverhead.
Is it DSS that's sending them there?
So it's DSS that's sending them there.
Isn't it their responsibility to find placement?
Correct.
Like, so why are we holding off from,
Yeah.
I understand you're in litigation, but like why is he responsible? DSS should just remove them for their own safety.
So I'm glad you asked that. DSS is supposed to be subpoenaed by the defendant, and they're supposed to be giving testimony in Supreme Court as to if they even inspected the place, what their findings were, and then I'll have an opportunity to cross-examine them on, the activity that they
And what
are
license is he
allowing.
working under? What is he supposed to be? Is he a shelter or is he a domestic violence shelter?
When the complaints
DSS emergency?
When the complaints first came in, we thought it was a sober home. We found out quickly it was not. He, I believe, and I don't want to misstate what he said during the hearing, but I believe he said he's like some sort of homeless shelter. So I will find out a lot more on Monday if the DSS worker is produced.
Are all of the people living there from DSS?
So one of the exhibits in our original papers had that whiteboard I was explaining. Some of them were marked as DSS and some of them were marked as self-pay. So it's unclear of where that money is coming from, but a large chunk, I would say at least 10 to 12 of those individuals their housing is being paid by DSS. So most, but not all.
I mean, I can't believe that DSS would actually know that this is a single-family residence and that they would send that amount of people to reside in that home.
Which is exactly why they're being subpoenaed, and they'll have to answer that.
Good, great.
Yeah.
Yep.
The system is broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
And just one other quick thing, I know we discussed OTAR, so I guess, OTAR, the state agency that oversees DSS, so will they get, maybe you need to see what happens in the Supreme Court.
and then I'll contact them. Yep. So
Thanks.
I just want to see how it shakes out on
Right.
Monday in order to reach out to others.
Good job.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Very good, Victoria,
Until next
thank
time.
you.
Let's
Okay, that concludes our open session. In a moment, we will retire to executive session to discuss under contractual matters surrounding contractual agreement for police services with WASKI. We have matters surrounding contractual agreement with RVAC and AXIS with ROTHWELL. And under personnel, we have matters surrounding appointment for a committee with ROTHWELL. So at this time, I would, I would ask for a motion to close open session and go into executive session.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, open session is closed. We'll go into executive session. Happy Passover, happy Easter to everybody. Have a safe and happy weekend. Looks like Saturday we might have some near 80-degree temperatures, so that's exciting because I'm sure next week it'll be 50 again. So have a great weekend, everybody, and we appreciate you tuning in. Bye-bye.